Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Thank you, Mr. T, for another great intro. Folks, we're having one heck of a run here. As things fall apart, we need to really just focus. Take it in, breathe it out, digest what's happening, folks. Think about it, right? There's not some huge call to action other than what we are normally doing, prepping, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, all that stuff. You're not having to go out and march through the streets every single day, but if you get a chance, I recommend doing it. Be careful and extra wary, though, of agents provocateurs, and I just can't help but say, stay the fuck out of Washington, D.C. That place is a disaster, absolute disaster. Now, well, it's a disaster, folks, but get this, California is basically, it's hell on earth. That sounds about right, too. It's supposed to be really hot in hell and on fire and all that bad stuff, right? According to the Dante's Inferno, his description of hell has basically fueled the imagination of scared people for centuries now. Anyways, California is fitting that model. Not only was there the Dixie Fire, folks, which has burned up most of Northern California, largest single fire ever. Now we have the Caldor fire fire down there in South Lake Tahoe. Now here's what gets me is it sounds a lot like cauldron, basically another boiling pot, cauldron. But they're evacuating more, folks. And South Lake Tahoe is just a beautiful place. Once again, the United States, California, the government is failing. We're supposed to have pristine forests, old growth forests, wildlife, frickin' Bambi and Thumper kind of eating grass and nibbling shit and sniffing flowers and chasing bumblebees. How can they do that in a charred forest? They can't. They're just destroying everything while claiming carbon is bad. Well, what do you think all that smoke is? They claim they want to save the world and the environment, yet everything they're doing, the leftists, is destructive, absolutely destructive. Shit has hit the fan, folks. Where are we at? I'll tell you where we're at. The FDA is issuing warnings. Stop. Sorry, folks. You must go to Patreon because I can't tell you anymore. Patreon, right? Because if I tried telling you this story, I would be censored. I want everyone at Patreon. What is this? Yeah, I mean... What's killing me, folks, is something's going on with the internet right now. I have had nothing but trouble with this entire system. I'm going to have to go through and debug it and defrag it and this and do that. But even Uman up north in the greater Chicago, Illinois, Great Northwest, no, what the hell is that place called? Upper Midwest? He's having trouble with the internet up there. There's some fishy things going on, folks. But I want you to know about this, right? There's some fishy shit going on with this Hurricane Ida. I have not forgotten or meant to leave out Louisiana and what is happening there, the South, and all the flooding that's happening. It has just been one thing after another, after another, after another over the past few weeks. There is so much going on. So thoughts and prayers to the millions of Louisianans and others who are without power, systems down, difficulties. Once again, this is a natural SHTF event that is a locally geographic problem, right? It's a certain area that's being hit or been hit or continuing to be hit. That is why you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. I want you to have solar power. These people, as soon as you're without power, you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize how beneficial that electricity stuff was and how much I rely on it for every freaking thing. If you've got solar panel, battery, you're good. You can charge that baby up and run electronics. You get a big enough one or enough of them, you can run a small refrigerator, folks. I did it. I proved it at the RMZ. I did it. No problem. Ran a small refrigerator, enough to keep a 12-pack of beer cold and some sandwiches and some other foodly supplies. Oh yeah, it was good. You need solar power, folks, just for this type of situation. And it is this type of situation that's happened down in Louisiana, that the Secretary of Energy with the Biden administration is essentially guaranteed, oh yeah, we're going to have power outages. We're going to have more hacking. They have got so many different things lined up. And I want to get to that because it was brought to my attention by Mr. Skylight. And let me see if I can get to it. It's down here. No, that's a good one. That's a good one. No, that's a good one. Here it is right here. He wrote me a letter and he said, hey, look, we're being set up right now for a mass attack, right? He says the country is rudderless. And folks, I get great comments from you guys in emails and all kinds of other stuff. It is incredible how we are all tuned into what's happening and being prepared, right? Oh, no food today? No problem. I'm a prepper. Power's going to go out for a couple of days? No problem. I'm a prepper. Oh, cops want to, they want to go take care of that problem over there so they can't help us over here. Hey, no problem. You guys do your job over there. We'll handle it right here, right? The country is rudderless, meaning a rudder is in a boat. It's used to steer, right? Country has no rudder. It's just kind of drifting. We're drifting. Now, and here's what I chalk this up to, folks. You're gonna absolutely love this shit. Oh, by the way, even though I did the Patreon commercial and you guys are watching this live right now, you're on Patreon going, why are you giving us a farm? But you guys you're doing this live, so get your questions in for this live discussion over on Patreon. I know you're there. Get your questions in because I do the first half of the hour. No, first half of the hour, you guys do the second half. There we go. I got the clock straight. Why is the country rudderless? This is an interesting question. And I'm gonna give it to you. Obama, I think, was a lousy president. Barack Hussein, Barry Soetoro Obama. He said he's going to, quote, fundamentally change America, end quote. Fundamental, foundation. Building rests on foundation. You take away the foundation, the building falls. Fundamentally change the country. Change the foundation. What are we getting now? We're getting chaos out of our order. They're tearing down the country. He was such a shitty president anyways, but why is the Biden administration, why is it so unresponsive, slow to respond, inept, incapable of doing anything right? Well, Obama, and this is going basically viral again, he's talking about having a puppet. If I could have had 3 terms, but it would be great if I had someone in the office that they could have a little earpiece in, and I could just whisper the words to them, and he could say what I want to say. In other words, remote controlling, puppet mastering, an idiot in office to do his bidding. Doesn't that sound just a little bit like what we have? We've got a president who can't answer questions, who comes back days later with half-assed solutions to the problems, which are actually all, in truth, fundamentally changing this country. because shit has hit the fan. Up one side, down another. Very interesting. He talked about having a puppet for the president to give him his third term. Look, this is what we've got, folks. This is where we're at. They talked about having a White House, off the grid, off the system, away from DC. They've talked about it. They absolutely talked about it. Crazy stuff. Now, this was interesting. How did this one get in? I don't even know how this damn email got here. Oh, there we go. Is the one I saw from Mr. Lord, right? We have people in our government, folks. While I'm talking about Obama controlling Biden, kind of slow motion remote control, we have the government calling you a domestic violent extremist. For what? For saying that the founding fathers of the country were good? Well, I guess if, 250 years ago, if you were king of England, you would say, yeah, they're DVEs. But to us, they're patriots because we won that little argument. But we have people in our government who support terrorism. We have Rashida Tlaib. I still can't pronounce her name right, and I really don't give a fuck. But she has helped fundraising efforts for a group with Hamas and Taliban ties. Hamas and Taliban are not good people. We've got Ilhan Omar, who is another one of these squad members. They're heavy-duty socialist, anti-American, anti-Semite types. Yet you and I are the bad guys. Kamala Harris, she's part of this fundamentally changing the country too. Kamala Harris, what is she doing? Apart from standing in front of idols and shrines to Ho Chi Minh, great communist leader, while holding her hand in the swearing of an oath position. Well, in addition to that, last year, what did she do with terrorism? Oh yeah, BLM and Antifa, making sure they get out of jail and they don't go to jail. Folks, they all want to fundamentally change this country, whether they're doing fundraising efforts, directly helping, making foreign alliances with our enemies. Folks, Ho Chi Minh is not our fucking ally. Whether or not Vietnam can be some sort of use or benefit as a trading partner, Ho Chi Minh is not it. I mean, how would America feel? How would you feel if President, it always hurts me to say that, but President Xi Biden, if he stood up in front of a statue of the chairman Mao and held up his right hand like, here I am, or Stalin, or Trotsky, or Lenin, or Brezhnev, right, or Khrushchev, right? How would we like to see that? Why is our president standing? Why are American flags at a shrine to communists? How about Che Guevara? Oh, what a hero of the revolution. These people are doing exactly, folks, exactly what they said they were going to do. We're getting a wild ass freaking rodeo ride. Why rodeo? Why do we want to use that? Well, whether you're talking about a bucking bull, bucking broncos, bulldog and calves, right? You're throwing ropes, you're getting tossed off of horses and tossed off of cows. You're spinning this way, you're spinning that way. They're spinning the shit. You land in the fucking mud. They trample the shit out of you, right? That's a rodeo. That's a rodeo. Now, it used to be we could watch rodeo, and you still can. And those dudes are crazy, crazy folks. But we've got a rodeo where we're in it. Tomorrow, the rodeo, we begin a new event because Americans in Afghanistan are being abandoned. Being abandoned, folks. Now get this, the Taliban is now flying around in United States helicopters. that the United States government, meaning the Pentagon, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Secretary of Defense, the Biden administration, including Kamala Harris, and everyone else they have in their sick little circle, gave $85 billion worth of equipment that flies, rolls, and explodes to the Taliban. And now they're flying that helicopter around over Kabul with what? Well, I believe Jussie Smollett and Bubba Wallace would probably be very upset because it wasn't a rope. No, it wasn't a rope or something used to actually do something like, like on a crane hoisting things or a loop handle to close a garage door. They're actually hanging people by ropes and flying them around with U.S. helicopters, showing everyone in Kabul what they can expect their treatment's going to be. And what is tomorrow? The last day to get the fuck out of Afghanistan. What rodeo ride are we going to see next coming out of there? Are we going to see the troops refusing to leave? Are we going to see more troops come in and say, surprise? Are we going to see attacks on the Taliban by our troops? Is it going to be ordered by the troops? Is it going to be ordered by the Pentagon? Now, no matter what, folks, the Pentagon is going to lie to us. Guaranteed. Why? Because you can always tell when politicians, bureaucrats lie because their lips are moving. Everyone is basically left. Oh, it wasn't Kabul, it was Kandahar. Kandahar is where they're flying traitors around, traitors to the Taliban. Stand fast, folks, stand fast. It's coming. Rodeo coming. I want to jump over to here because this was frost my cake. The fact that Joe Biden and Democrats are racist. The fact that the KKK was started by Democrats. The fact that Robert Byrd, Senator of the United States, beloved of Hillary Clinton and all the Democrats, was a fucking grand high dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. Senator from West Virginia, I believe. No one ever chastised him or demanded he apologize or say you got to quit. These people are racist all the way. Now, Joe Biden today, or was it yesterday? Doesn't matter. Just a couple days. Today, yesterday, whatever. He referred to his senior advisor, Cedric Richmond, as boy. Hey, boy. Hey, that's my boy. Now, is that overtly racist? For me, I don't think so. Is it fucking rude? Is it disrespectful? Is it demeaning as a man? Yeah, he's like, I think he's 47. And he's a senior advisor. Even though he's a freaking communist, Democrat, socialist piece of shit, he's still a man. And they can't help. They just can't help themselves. Joe Biden. The leftists are a bunch of racists. And they always pander to minorities and then insult the shit out of them. And that's fine, right? But the fact that I'm a white European descended male, that just makes me racist and an extremist just by being born. Yet these fucking people can do this constantly. Remember Joe Biden. Oh, if you don't vote Democrat, then you're not a black person. What? I mean, the shit they say and get away with. Well, that was story number one. I just wanted to revisit the racist the racist Democrats who put blacks down, try and make them less than, keep them on their plantation. Here's more racism in the news, folks. On MSNBC, right? There's just this, I consider, petulant old bat who's trying to tell everyone how they need to think and how us, the Republicans, are brainwashing people to believe them and repeat their rhetoric, right? But C.J. Pearson, a youthful, conservative, independent-thinking black guy, he's on there, he called her on her shit. He says, do you think you get to tell black people what to do? And he went after her. Folks, she's on MSNBC spouting a bunch of racist shit, telling black people what they have to do, and telling them if they don't, then it's more of the same from these people. But they say we're racist, that they project their guilt, their thoughts on us. I don't accept it. I am not a racist, right? Now, that doesn't mean racism doesn't exist, hasn't existed. It doesn't mean it won't continue to exist. In fact, the biggest examples of racism are the Democrats themselves, all the way up to the fucking president. Yet they're using this topic to divide us. The country was in great shape with regard to race relations, folks. And for me, in my life, it still is. I've got no problems, zero problems, folks. I had a little hard time understanding a Romanian woman today, but that was only because her English wasn't that great, and my hearing isn't much better. So, but is that racist? Noting that she's from Romania? No. Why should it be? Only if it's being used as a divisive tool. That is all this is about, folks, dividing us, splitting us up, putting you and I in a certain group, and then demonizing, dehumanizing us so they can destroy us. I'm going to continue to repeat that because that is precisely what is happening. And they are doing it intentionally to produce an effect. To produce an effect. The effect is to cause chaos. And Hegelian dialect is problem, reaction, solution. Create a problem, offer a solution that supports your agenda. Oh, speaking of Biden effect, folks, right now, national and global security is at greater risk, and the odds of world war are increasing daily under the Biden administration. That's the Biden effect. North Korea has, according to reports, restarted its nuclear reactor, its nuclear program, which was shut down, folks, back in 2018 because President Trump was like, we're gonna fix things, right? You kind of patched shit up with North Korea. It's a big difference there, right? You bet. There is a big difference between North Carolina and North Korea. Yeah, they've had that thing shut down since 2018. That's over 4 years ago. Nope, 3 years ago. But they're starting it up. They're starting it up. They're starting to put the pressure. They're pushing their globalist New World Order, Great Reset agenda right down our throats, folks. And we're staring right at it. Imagine standing in a road. Well, better yet, standing in Tiananmen Square. And this really might be an excellent way just to look at this. We're standing in Tiananmen Square, you and I, and we see the tanks coming, and we're just little people. We can't stop the tanks, folks. Tankety tank right over the top of us. Tank, 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 right? Clackety, clackety, clack. Individually, we can't stop the tanks. Unified and together, and when it's open war, because right now it's not open warfare, folks, but when it is open, there's going to be a much bigger, how do we put this? The day-to-day results will be far different than what is expected for everybody, folks, for everybody. And I'm not trying to say, it's going to be one of those easy things to fix. I'm saying, no, it's coming. It is coming, and it is not open, but it's coming. Let me talk about why, right? What they're doing is just jerking us around. The chicken shit retard, John Kirby, the Pentagon spokesman, still doesn't know how many Americans are stranded in Afghanistan behind enemy lines. And so he basically says, hey, why don't you go ask the State Department, right? Hot potato. They don't really want this, folks. They want someone else to do their dirty work for them. They really do, folks. They do. The Biden administration regime, all those socialist scumbags, they're investigating Republican states, saying that removing mask mandates is discrimination, right? The Education Department announced Monday that it's investigating 5 Republican states that had banned mask requirements. It doesn't say that you can't voluntarily wear one. It says banned mask requirements, saying the policies could amount to discrimination against students with disabilities or health conditions. No. If you've got a disability or a health condition and you want to go get the jungle juice, Go ahead. No one's stopping you. If you have a disability or health condition, you can wear a mask. You can wear 2. You can wear 20 fucking masks. No one's going to stop you. But they're calling it discrimination, folks. Democrats and mainstream media continue to misapply the English language to meet their bullshit agenda. Right? How about they're requiring kids and adults to wear masks as a violation of the, I don't know, 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 9th, 10th, and the 45th Amendments? Hell, all the amendments they're violating. Right? How about it's discrimination to force people who are healthy to do something they don't want to do based off of private medical records that may or may not say something at all? Why is it the government's fucking business? Why is it a school's business? How is it possibly a business's business, a corporation's business, in other words? Right? Folks, this is a soft war. It's an information war. It's a psychological war against the people by the DC US government, their buddies in the fascist system, the corporations, the mainstream media, et cetera, yada, yada, yada. Tankety tank, bring it on. This is their soft information psychological war where they just play fucking games with us and push us around and go, look at that person over there. We're going to go arrest them and it's going to be all over the news. We're going to splash it everywhere. We're going to accuse that person of hurting others because they wanted to breathe fresh air. We're going to accuse that person of hurting others because they said their body belongs to them and it's their body, their choice. Never mind those little girls with the pink pussy hats, right? They are silent about my body, my choice. Don't worry, they'll be back. When it suits their agenda, it will be back. Hell, wait till abortions are mandatory. Mandatory. Oh, it's possible, folks. If you don't get a government permit to make a baby, if you get pregnant without permission, if you didn't have the government check your DNA and make sure it was woke enough, and if you aren't taking the right drugs, if you aren't obedient to the word and will of anyone who is Karen quality woke, you may not be allowed. Folks, it is just going to get worse. And at some point, we all know that it's going to go hot, And get your questions in because I'm about done here. Right? Now, this is a huge one, folks. I mean, people are getting fucking hot under the collar. The people I saw yesterday, Sunday, that want the military to take action. What does the military do? They kill people and they break things. They destroy the enemy. That's their job. The American people I'm meeting are more and more saying, man, we need the military to do something. Well, what the military does is kill bad guys. So the American people are more and more saying they want the military to kill the bad guys. Who are the bad guys? People that are destroying America. Folks, it's all a stage show to the powers that be. It is a filthy act pretending to give a shit about us and what is happening. Now, Biden met with a pregnant widow of one of the Marines who was killed recently in the bombing at the Kabul International Airport. The conversation only lasted 2 minutes. Here's the quote. It struck the family as scripted and shallow. I wish this widow hadn't allowed him to hurt her and her family. But I'm glad the nation has yet one more chance to see how shitty DC is, the US government is, its bureaucrats, its elected politicians, because it's not working for us right now. If it was working for us, we would have law and order, peace and tranquility, prosperity, happiness. People would be free, but it's not. They're blaming people who refuse to have their rights violated, people who are demanding their liberties. They're blaming us for what's going on in the world. I don't think people who demanded their liberties said, why don't you go make a virus that's going to kill people? Why don't you go make a weaponized bio attack virus? No, we didn't say that. We didn't say, you know what, we need to get rid of our rights. Why don't you just start trashing the shit out of us? We didn't ask for any of this. It's the government that has funded this, promoted this, directed this, and it's their agenda, and they have a goal, folks. And it is total domination of everyone and everything called the Great Reset. Now, to give you an idea, I just mentioned people I've talked to, people that are seeing me. They don't know who the fuck I am, folks. Literally. I'm out in public. I don't have people going, hey, Semper Fi, John, prepared mind, way to go, dude. Where I'm at right now, no one knows. But I had people approaching me because I was wearing a shirt with a particular military logo on it. And they're like, dude, do something. 84% of Americans in poll, folks, say we should wait to leave Kabul until all Americans are evacuated. The Biden regime disagrees and is going to leave hundreds and thousands of Americans behind. How do we know? How do we know how many it is? The State Department doesn't know. The Pentagon doesn't know. The president, nobody knows how many Americans are left there. Nobody knows. They're not saying, they don't know. But I can tell you this. Let me tell you this. Military brass, meaning the people in charge at the Kabul airport, are refusing to let American women and children inside the gate. I believe it's gate B, the last one that's going to be open, trying to get people out to the last minute. One, can the people even get there? Two, can they get past, if they start getting there, the Taliban checkpoints where they have names of people and probably pictures, information, everything else about what they did. They have to get by the Taliban. Then they have to get to the gate. Then they have to get inside, but they're being stopped. Who is stopping them? Who's making that decision? What the hell is going on if Afghanis, not Americans, can get on without an American driver's license, American passport? Why do they get to get on the fucking jets at a rate of 19 to 1, 19 Afghanis to 1 American? How come? It is sickening, folks. And this is just the shit that I picked up, folks, today. What we're talking about. What we're talking about, folks, this attack on America. The attack on America, folks, the purging of liberty-minded people continues. Chase Bank has told General Michael Flynn, an honorable military general who loves America, freedom, liberty, who served his entire life in the military. They have told him they're closing his accounts, canceling his credit cards. Why? Because they say this decorated, lifelong veteran who served his country, that his having access to his own money and accounts creates a reputational risk. Folks, Chase Bank, fuck you. Their reputation is shit. It has been and it always will be. Cancel them, folks. Woke equals broke. Cancel them. Screw them for their lies and betrayal of America. If they don't like General Flynn, then they should be canceling the accounts of everyone in Washington, D.C., up to and including everyone in the White House and the Pentagon for what they're doing. You want to talk about a bad fucking reputation? The whole world right now hates Joe Biden and his administration, the Secretary of Defense and the Pentagon, because they abandoned them in Afghanistan as well. And they're worried about a man, General Flynn, who has no power and authority in Washington any longer. And they're going to cancel him. You've got to be fucking kidding me. The answer, John, is no. They're not kidding. They're extremely serious, folks. Get away from Chase and tell them you don't want your reputation soiled by their fucking stupidity. Incredible. Incredible. And I'm going to get to your stuff now, folks. I've had enough. I've had enough of my shit. Now I want some of your shit. Folks, subscribe to The Prepared Mind. If you're visiting, if you found us, you got to hit the subscription button. Click it. Click the bell so you get alerts when videos come out. Do it. We need you subscribed. We need you subscribed. We need you to share videos because this is our network. This is the people, folks. This is the people. Us, me, you, us talking. Share, help, because people are looking for this information. And I need you to do that. Now we got Dennis Chandler checking in, and he's on Patreon. And Monday through Friday, Patreon subscribers can come here, ask questions, get answers live right now. This is real time on Patreon. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm sorry, I got to get you to Patreon, right? $2 a month is it. You can donate more, and we would take it. Right? We'll cash that check, but we only want $2 a month. That's it. And then you can join every day. Now we're getting more people all the time. So let me get to it. Stop running my soup cooler on that part and get to your part, Dennis. He says, question, if the special operators that are now out of the military to rescue people, if they're going to be on their own, is this going to be Poopy Pants Benghazi? Folks, or I should say Dennis directly, but folks, everyone, there was a meme going around, and wow. And Jolene, remind me to get you the pictures of servicemen in Afghanistan and the pictures, because we need to do like a slideshow on them, because I'm sick of these anti-patriotic people out here just attacking the military while using the military. Okay, but back to this. Benghazi, folks, compared to Benghazi, compared to what's going on now in Afghanistan, in Kabul, around the country, folks, we're only hearing about Kabul. We're not hearing about basically Kandahar, except they are publishing videos to the internet showing people hanging from ropes by their neck, being flown around the cities, showing them off. They're wasting $5,000 an hour maintenance fees on these helicopters. That's how much effort and time and parts it takes to keep those things going, just to scare the living shit out of everybody and to encourage more terror. Benghazi was terrible. Benghazi was a political stunt. Benghazi resulted in the death of some Americans. Compared to today, Benghazi is nothing. It's not nothing, but it's not, I mean, what's happening now is the whole world is pissed. Fucking England, the English government has censored the American president, basically saying you suck. They want him court-martialed. They want him thrown out of office. They want him in trouble for human rights violations, folks, around the world. That's our president. Go Joe. All right, we got BMW 9mm. He says, I heard that the Taliban has rounded up 7 busloads of American women. True or false? Your thoughts. I have heard that the Taliban has rounded up many, many buses full of American women and children as well. Is it true? Is it false? How can I know? I'm really not there. Now, if it's not true, it's being used as propaganda. Who benefits? Key bono. Who benefits from the propaganda if it's not true? It encourages more terror, encourages the Taliban, encourages ISIS-K, ISIS-Q, ISIS-Z, right? It encourages all of the bad guys. Yeah, we can get these Americans and kill them because we heard that 6 or 7 or 12 buses full of American women and children were kidnapped, beheaded, killed, sold, traded, bought, enslaved, whatever. Propaganda. That's if it's a lie. But if it is true, what does that mean? That the Taliban has rounded up Americans that they've captured on buses, women and children included, and they're going to do all of those awful things to them, up to and including murdering them. And it's all Joe Biden's fault, whether it's being used for propaganda, which will hurt us. Because remember, the Taliban, which is now like the 13th or 14th biggest military on the planet, a bunch of fucking idiots who probably can't even, never mind. They're idiots. You've seen them. They're idiots. They are that powerful of military because of what Joe Biden, Lloyd Austin, and the Pentagon gave them. And I'm sure all of the natural resources in Afghanistan will be, well, duly mined and processed by China, with China benefiting financially. But, you know, be that as it may, it's propaganda that will support terror. If it's propaganda, if it's the truth, if this really did happen, that will do the same thing for the terrorists, but it'll cost even more lives, right? If those people really did die, it's a fucking tragedy. of immense proportions. Folks, right now, angels are crying, and it is so frustrating and maddening. The amount of fortune and lives lost that are American, Afghanis, and people around the world to these wars that are started and fought because people in power want to be rich and control others. That's really what this comes down to. Every war of conquest is fought to enrich the victor. And the people always pay. The Slim One says, so could we get away with a mandate, optional, autonomous zone, sanctuary city somewhere? Well, yeah, of course we could. Anything is possible in this fucking screwy rodeo now. You know, bring on the clowns. Can we get a optional autonomous zone sanctuary city? See, they're trying that in Texas, Missouri, Florida, and other states. They're trying to make them sanctuaries, but you have judges within them inside saying, "Oh no, you can't be free, you silly people. We've got something going on here that's bigger than your rights and freedom." But yeah, when it comes to this autonomous zone or city, when the lefties want to do it, yeah, they think it's a great idea because it's lawless and it supports their agenda. In other words, again, key bono, who benefits? The Democrats benefit because they want chaos so that out of chaos, they can create their new order of the ages. They're trying to create that, but you have to have chaos first. But do they want free people on this planet? No, we are not part of their agenda. So if you and I and many others said, hey, we're going to take Jacksonville, Florida, and we're going to make it a sanctuary city, an autonomous zone, free from Washington, D.C. We're going to make Jacksonville free from any state controls or other people controls. It's an autonomous zone where you can live free and make your own decisions. No, they would be all over that. They'd have the fucking National Guard rolling in tanks. And I'm not, even if it wasn't another state, not just Florida, another state, pick a fucking state that's red, no blue. Oh, you know, Illinois. Is Illinois going to allow sanctuary cities that are full of BLM? Of course they would. Hell, all of South Chicago is a fucking autonomous zone, according to many reports. But would they allow it somewhere else? Of course they would. Would they allow it to be an autonomous zone where people are free to be free? Not free to be a bunch of leftist fruitcakes, but free to be free individuals, free of taxation, government control and restraint, free to become prosperous. They wouldn't allow that for a second because that's what America tries to be. No. Great question. Good topic. Michael Harris checks in. He says, I've been watching you since before you went to the fifth wheel. Oh, shit. I almost never catch you live. President Trump is telling people to get the zombie juice. Do you think this is a political suicide? Personally, it's a turnoff for me. Yeah, I don't like it at all. Why he's doing that, I don't know. Does he know something we don't know? I don't know. I don't like the Jim Jones juice, folks. I don't like it. The Jim Jones juice, the Kool-Aid, was drank by the Jim Jones followers, and they paid the price with their lives. I don't like it. Right? I don't like the tequila shot. I don't like a lot of things, folks, in this world, and it's happening. There's a lot of people want to jump all over Trump. There's a lot of people that believe he's the second coming, and there's a lot of people in between. Look, I'm an individual, an American free. I want to be left alone. If someone says, John, we're going to leave you alone, perfect. That's the attitude I want from someone, whether they're a regular person, someone in power. Same guy says, John, we need to make sure criminals don't get to act criminal. I'd be like, dude, we're on the same page there as well. Let's do it. Let's make sure that we have a place where we're free and criminal behavior, fraud, corruption, deceit, theft, murder doesn't occur. Well, now we're talking civilization, right? And it's interesting that you were watching since before I even went to the fifth wheel. You started the show back in December of 2013. 2013 is when I started this, folks, basically on a dare. and a recommendation that I should, start my own channel. Why don't you just try that, Mr. Smart Guy? And back then I was married with younger kids and had a very large concrete reinforced, steel reinforced bunker house. A few years later, I went to the fifth wheel for 5 years and then went to the RMZ, and here I am now, somewhere in a real bunker down south. Cool stuff. All right, we got Bonnie Blue 2A with a statement. Says, on Friday last week, the Biden-Garland Department of Justice lost its suit against the state of Missouri implementing its new Second Amendment Preservation Act. Bada bing, bada boom. Beautiful. Now, here's what we're talking about, folks. Merrick Garland is the Attorney General, right? Head of the Department of Justice under the Joe Communist Biden administration. Joe Fascist Biden administration. For those of you who want to be really specific about what form of supreme leftist authoritarian totalitarian horseshit we're dealing with. So yeah, they lost their suit against the state of Missouri because what? It wanted to take the Second Amendment of the United States and say it more clearly with a little louder voice. The Second Amendment says what the Second Amendment says. And I love Missouri. It's the show me state. Show me. What do you got? Show it to me. Second Amendment. Bam. There it is. Love it. Absolutely love it, folks. So yeah, congratulations to Missourians. I hope you're not miserable, but folks, we're all entering into a phase of shit, it's the fan, misery. So do what you can, folks, and support states, support legislatures, support governors that are doing things that are positive. Now, I'll just do a little callback here. Trump is saying, hey, you need to go out and get some Jim Jones juice. Or it's not about it, whatever he's saying about it, right? He says good things also. If someone's negative on someone, they're going to point to their negative shit. They're going to ignore the good things. I can't expect anyone out there, anyone on the planet, to be 100% in line with the John's brain. And I'm always going to go, you know what? You did that a little differently. I don't approve. I'm going to take the good where I can. And I'm going to make recommendations to those same people if they've got something I disagree with, right? Hey, why don't you fucking reconsider that shit? There's a lot going wrong in Missouri. There's a lot going wrong in Florida. There's a lot going wrong in Texas, but there's a lot more right happening. And we want to promote that. And that's something that we can do and stay on a positive note, a positive foot, right? What is Trump doing that's positive? He's keeping the people excited about freedom. He's talking about freedom and liberties. Right? He's talking about the evil that's in Washington. I mean, fuck, everyone can do that, but he's keeping people engaged. Now, what have we been bitching about? You, me, us, a lot of us. Maybe you didn't, but maybe that other person. Americans are asleep. They don't wake up. They don't care. They're not giving a shit. They're not doing anything. They're sitting on their dead asses. They're only concerned about this. Right. So he's keeping them engaged, energized. And that means me and you have a chance to talk. If someone else has got their brain open because they're listening to what happened in Missouri or Texas or Florida, or something that happened somewhere else, or some other politician somewhere said something, or some news person or some media person or some celebrity said something that got their attention and woke them up. Eric Clapton is writing a song about need to knock this shit off with the Jim Jones juice. It needs to stop. And someone went, you know what? Because Eric Clapton said that, I'm now going to pay a little more attention and start learning. That's a good thing. Take advantage of it. Use it for our purposes, which is promoting the concept, the idea of freedom, liberty, America. Right? Do it. Hey, we got Aloha Prepper checking in. Aloha Prepper. Oh yes, this has come up. That the Centers for Disease Control, folks. This is incredible. The Centers for Disease Control is planning to make gun ownership a health issue. This is right out of the book of sophistry and lies under Marxist, fascist, totalitarian dictatorship laws. The idea that you can say, Well, guns cause injury, and the people that use guns are sick in the head. It's a health issue. And there's so much that's wrong that it's a crisis, meaning it's an emergency. And in an emergency, the CDC has special powers that are extra constitutional. And so we're going to use our special extra constitutional emergency powers to tell you that we have a health crisis, and therefore guns are now illegal. Well, only in this state over here, and only for these certain types of people over there. You see, they always start with what? Divide, dehumanize, and destroy. So in this case, we're going to divide the people and put those that have a health issue, mental health or whatever, and put them here. And then you're going to demonize them, dehumanize them. Oh, they're such bad, awful people because they like freedom and their Second Amendment. So now that we've properly dehumanized them, then we can destroy their Second Amendment rights. It is one more flagrant, transparent act of stupidity on their part. And they're instantly caught. Every time they touch the Second Amendment to lift it up and just read it, their fingers get hot and they drop it. You know, it is so well written. Sadly, they've used sophistry or legalized lies, changing of the meaning of words to try and suit their agenda. But we know better, folks. The day you hand your gun over to them, that's the day your gun no longer matters. And then you no longer matter. And then your country and your belief system no longer matters because there's no one there to defend it, period. Anyways, thank you, Aloha Prepper. Glad you're doing well. I hope that Hawaii is going to straighten up sometime in the future, but I doubt it. I know Hawaiians. I know many Pacific Islanders. Good people. Politics, though, makes for some stupid fucking decisions. All right, let's move on. We got Serge Sherry. He says, the video where you said people are 100% behind the military, and many of us even are behind and on the side fighting alongside the military, that video made me tear up. Last night, I found out at the end of the show, I grabbed my phone as soon as I stopped the Sunday Night Live, and I realized that Sergeant Major Michael was trying to get a hold of me again, letting me know that the Airborne Rangers out of Fort Benning were watching us talking, officers and enlisted. And the fact, folks, they need to know that we support them, that we're behind them, we're with them. It is so important. As the Biden administration does this divide, dehumanize, destroy, so they can take order and turn it into chaos. That's what they're doing. We, meaning people who love liberty and freedom, we need to gather those divided pieces, gather the broken part of the military, gather an age demographic that has been demonized, boomers, bring them into this fold. We need to grab everyone that has been peeled off and made to feel unwanted, unwelcome, and alone. Divide and conquer. Black conservatives, Latin, Hispanic conservatives, Asian conservatives. How about white conservatives? How about white, middle-aged, male conservatives who have been divided off and dehumanized to the point where they're calling us fucking racist just for breathing oxygen? Right? And we need to grab the other part that they've broken off. Our culture, our heritage, what the people are about. Men, women, children, what America is about. Freedom, liberty, love, justice, American flag, pie, baseball, all the things we love that they've said are garbage. We can't even, put us all together. That is a big, big, big chunk of America that they're trying to convince us is a little piece here and a little piece there. And when it comes to the military, folks, that's young men as well as some salt in there. That's young men, young women who want to serve this country as patriots for freedom. And they're being called by their own military leadership. They're being called extremists and white supremacists. That is why I'm so fucking disgusted with the Pentagon, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, bunch of skirt and makeup wearing men in DC. It's a freaking freak show with the Secretary of Defense and the Biden administration. You think the troops want to follow that? Talk about demoralizing, folks, but still, even with all of that, these men and women who are in fighting units, in the Marine Corps, in the Army, in the Navy, oh, they're there, folks. In the Air Force, they're there, okay? There are good people there, and they belong with us because they want the same things we want. They want the Constitution. They want the American flag. They want their rights. They want their family safe. They don't like the shit that's going on, and we stand with them. We do. And there's going to be a time that's coming, folks, and it's getting here faster and faster with all of this ridiculous shit that I am cataloging and documenting on a daily basis with you. And I need your support, folks. I need your support. The best way to support this show is to spread the word so that they know the Prepared Mind Network, the R Syndicate, folks, the rsyndicate.com. Very important. They need to know it is out there and that there's a way to get a hold of other people, to learn what other people know, that we are a huge part of America. And moreover, we're the part of America that gives a shit, that pays our own way and pays our taxes, that is law abiding, that respects and loves one another, right? That's that. Speaking to those military guys, always just incredible. And like I said, I got to feel a little piece of that when I was out in the public, when they're just looking. The general public, unless you're in a town, in a city, in an area that has a military base, be it Air Force or Navy, Marine Corps or Army, unless you're right next to that, the people are like, how do we get in touch? How do we tell the military that we want them? We want them in our group, the group that loves freedom and liberty. How do we tell the military that? So I'm just fucking walking around going, you know what? I'd like a drink on Sunday. It'd be nice to relax and sit down, and all of a sudden there's drinks in front of me. Holy shit. People saying, hey, we need some action. I'm like, I'm nobody. I'm just a guy. That's how desperate America is, folks, for unity. For the love of God, let's bring this country together. But you have to remember that the enemy, the adversary, and you know who the adversary is, wants to break everything up, wants to dehumanize us. And they're doing all they can, folks. The mainstream media is doing all it can. Education system is doing all it can. When kindergarten teachers, third grade teachers are teaching little children to hate their white parents, what? How is that education? It's not, folks. It's dividing the country. That's all they're after. We got Ron Stryker in the house. Hey, Ron, he says, I made a gas run earlier. Pissed off a number of folks when I filled 4 5-gallon cans plus my tank because the hurricane down south. Imagine what will happen when SHTF. Okay, yeah, so you're not in an area where there's hurricane damage and everything's fine, but here you are filling up gas cans. And people are kind of pissy about it. Do they know that you might be living off of a fucking generator in the middle of the sticks? Do they know that you might have farm equipment making food for these same ungrateful pricks? You could be farming. You could be running a business that provides jobs for other people, and you need that gas for your equipment. Maybe you own a landscaping company that has small equipment, power tools, etc., that run on gasoline. They don't fucking know shit, and they want to be mad about it. They don't think. They don't think, folks. SHTF, you say, imagine what's going to happen when shit hits the fan. Yeah, you bet. There's going to be, well, number one, there'll be shortages. Number two, people are going to be really scared. And when people are scared, they become what? Uncertain, fearful, paranoid, and violent. There's also going to be an inability on your part to do what you just did. If there becomes a serious shortage for any extended period of time, anticipate, folks, anticipate there not only being a line In fact, the jarhead I was talking to yesterday, he's like, do you remember odd even days in the 70s? And I was like, yeah, I remember sitting in the back seat of the car going, Mom, why are we in this line? Well, it's our day to get gas. Whether it was the address, the street you lived on, or no, it was your license plate. If it had an odd or even number either at the beginning or the end, whatever the fuck it was, then that was the day. That way they could see your car and go, okay, today you can get in. Hey, you're wrong day. Get the fuck out of here, right? But they're going to have that again. There'll be shortages. There will be this thing called there'll be a limit to how much you can get. Rationing. Hey, you can't buy 3 loaves of bread. Don't you know that we have rationing? I was like, dude, I've got 10 kids. We need 3 loaves of bread. Well, we have a rationing order, and we're not going to let you take 3 loaves of bread. So you're telling me my kids will starve while that guy right there has no wife, no kids, no dogs, no cats, and he gets to get his loaf of bread all for himself, but my family of 10 has to have 1 loaf of bread for us? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Well, we have rationing. They'll be rationing of fuel, folks. Makes no sense. This guy drives his vehicle. This girl drives her vehicle all day to serve others as a business. Are they going to be allowed to get gas? Oh, we have rationing, folks. The stupid is going to be off the hook. The stupid, human stupidity, folks. It's going to be off the hook. Now we got Steve, USMC, no tolerance, Semper Fi, brother. Seriously. Holy shit, Steve. He says this, Mom for John, the last thing we need is, quote, I heard from a blank shit. We need to deal with the truth, not rumors. The last thing we need is I heard from a other person. Yeah, we need to deal with the truth, not rumors. And that does create some problems for us, Steve, because I'm here, right? I'm in this thing. I can't see what's going on in the next town, the next state, the other side of the country, or around the world. So I'm stuck with the news. And folks, the news now, mainstream media, even alternative media, it is full of half-truths written and produced by half-wits. And how do we know if they're telling the truth, if they're embellishing? Sometimes you get facts, and then they'll mix so much conjecture in there that it's hard to tell what the value is. Now, in my own defense, I have an agenda. My agenda is to get you prepared for what is coming. What is coming? I keep saying it's going to get worse. It's going to get shitty. It's nasty out there. Now, if I was lying, if I was incorrect, if my embellishments were bullshit, then everything would be fucking great. The world would smell like roses. We'd have parades every day. Everyone would have a job where they don't have to work too hard, but get paid twice as much. The government wouldn't tax anyone. We would all be breathing fresh air 100% of the time, and the sun and the moon wouldn't fight anymore, right? But it's going the other way. Things are going to hell in a fucking handbasket. So I'm pretty sure what I'm covering is the truth, and I'm going to continue to do my best to ferret out the bullshit, talk about things that matter, are factual, can be demonstrated, and we'll go with it. Now, I'm imperfect. I don't try to be imperfect. It just happens. I'll continue to do my best. And I want to thank you, Steve, brother. I love you, man. Everyone, I love you all. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Get prepared. Stay prepared. Stay current. Help others see what's going on. It's becoming so obvious now that it's like, how can you not see it? How can you not see what's going on? Shit has hit the fan, folks. It is nasty. It is nasty. And we all need to see what the truth is, the facts. And I'm going to continue to do my best to bring you that, and then bring you some unique perspectives. Talk about what other people are saying. So we have a group here. And I love that in the comments section, you can actually ask legitimate questions. On Patreon, of course, we directly talk about them, your questions, and share ideas, and then you can chat there. And it should become a friendly, collegiate environment. Trolls notwithstanding. Anyone who wants to be critical, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Really? I'll go look at your channel where you got 2 subscribers and no videos. Okay, you must be a genius. because everybody wants to hear what you have to say, right? Now, we have a lot of great people here working in the R Syndicate, the Prepared Mind Network. They're friends of the Prepared Mind. We're all friends, right? We're trying to get through this. Awareness, eyes front, head on a swivel, responsibility, but somehow you got to watch your six. Get prepared, folks. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Look out for yourself. Do your very best. That's all we can do, folks. That's all we can do, right? Semper Fi, Godspeed. And I got something for you to take a look at. Something that's really important with regard to, folks, prepping and being able to get information from a variety of sources.